The problem with ChatGPT or any other proprietary LLM model, you don't own your data and you don't own your AI. I believe the future of warfare will be an AI warfare, an AI battleground. I am building my own clone as well.
Let's say I have a textile industry in Ludhiana or I have an Ayurvedic business in Kerala. How can I integrate AI into my business? What industries are ready for disruption with AI? Define AI in one word.
Blessing.
How many jobs do you think AI will create?
12 million.
Can you elaborate? One misconception about AI in marketing that you wish would vanish overnight.
But AI can solve everything.
Finish this sentence. In 5 years, AI will.
Entirely revolutionize how we see the world today.
In 5 years?
In less than 5 years as well.
Joining us today is Mr. Harneet Singh, founder and CEO of Rabbit AI, a London-based Gen AI company that helps organizations own their AI. A serial entrepreneur, Harneet has launched 5 companies, built over 12 products, and managed more than $1 billion in business across US, UAE, and India. Harneet is also a graduate of IIT Delhi, my alma mater. Welcome to the podcast, Harneet.
Thank you.
Before we even get into the story of Rabbit AI, I want to start with your personal journey. You've gone to IIT Delhi. I don't think at that time you did BTech in AI, but today you're running a very successful company in AI. Walk us through that journey, please.
So I'll even take a step back why I went to IIT. So I grew up in a village, right, in a tier 2 city. And in 5th class, I got first access to computer. And when computer lab was getting set up in my college, and there was a foundation who was giving us books, and on computer books, and on those books, you had Bill Gates' photo. And I Googled who this guy is, or rather, I read who this guy is, and I found out he's the richest guy. And that's where I got to know about Microsoft and tech world and Bill Gates. And वो होता है ना, you get a fantasy that, oh, the richest guy of the world is running a tech company. What's in tech and what's in computers? So I got fascinated with computers and programming and technology from that age. And I was building in 8th class. I coded the first website, built it for my school and then neighboring schools as well. And I guess that was one of the most fulfilling things for me in tech. Then my teacher suggested that if you want to do all this thing, you should go to IIT. I went to IIT. Yeah, AI was not a hype that time, but we were always interested in technology and software and internet, what it can do. And eventually, after IIT, I started working, and then I started my own company. So I've worked across US, UK, UAE, and India. So we were solving our customer problems. My first company, Tech Curators, was into the e-learning and assessment space, right? So we were solving customer problems, but we were using technology on the back end. We were using a lot of Python scripts to automate certain tasks, to put the data from Word to Excel files. Simple examples like to put the data from Word to Excel, to upload, download data, to create certain type of pattern questions, and to analyze certain data. We were using all that technologies which we built ourselves, but we were not branding it because that time the world wanted everything human. If you tell your client that I have a script on the back end which is creating maths questions for your test, they'll fire me, right?
Yeah.
But we were always working on that automation and AI and scripts much before ChatGPT and AI was a hype.
Because the technology existed, right?
The technology existed.
Yeah.
The technology was just getting better and better. Like that was my first, I would say, the experience with AI, where we saw that with technology, you can actually have a lot of cost savings and you can actually have a lot of impact. And people think you're superhuman, but you can use those powers to impact your business and add value for your customers.
Fair. And then how did Rabbit AI happen?
While I was running Tech Curators, my first company, which was into assessments and e-learning, and then Trans Curators, which is another company, which is a translation company, majorly a localization engine for content. So we were mostly into content, and I made a small exit as well. I did a small company, which was like not TCView, it is named. It was not very successful, and we exited it. Not a very big deal, and we had some money, and I had automated these businesses, so I had some time as well. But under say that thing is there ki, oh, my business is good but I'm not utilizing tech which I always wanted to do. So there was some gap inside, and I was following all the research which Google and all these guys were doing already. When transformers model came, architectures came, we were researching more like a hobby, like a side project. And suddenly, November of 2023, ChatGPT happened. So we were like, this is really awesome. And we
Yeah.
never thought it is possible. But we also know all this technology.
Yeah.
We have read all that stuff.
Mhm.
Why don't we try to create something? So we were working with a lot with experimenting with GPT and all. And we figured out that, okay, now these guys are the big guys in the industry. They are revolutionizing the entire industry. They have spent 10 years, they've spent billions of dollars and made something beautiful. What can we do to fill the gap? We tried finding the gray areas. So we realized that this is again a land grab situation. So I'm a big fan of Larry Ellison, Oracle's founder. So in his biography, he writes this that when Oracle was building, that was a land grab situation because that time the databases, SQL databases were new things and they were grabbing the entire market before IBM could do or anybody could do. And another land grab situation he mentioned when the soft drink market was getting created, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Just connecting the dots, I thought this is also a land grab situation. And what happens in a land grab situation, people with money and resources don't want to buy stuff, rent. They don't want to rent stuff. They want to own stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine Gurgaon of 2000s, 1995s. Nobody would like to rent, and there's nothing to rent.
Yeah.
People would want to buy land
And
and
build.
build stuff, and then eventually, when the market matures, the only option for you is to rent. So our thesis was that people would want to own the AI, and second is own their data.
Yeah.
So the problem with ChatGPT or any other proprietary LLM model which is served to you in a SaaS mode was this: you don't own your data and you don't own your AI. I'll explain both of them in one line. You don't own your data is the data is leaving your premise. There are chances that your data privacy is getting lost. Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't own your AI means, let's say you're working on ChatGPT, prompting it to make it better, make it more customized, but that intelligence is not owned by you. Now, for you as a consumer, that is fine. But think of a big business, any company like let's say a big university like University of California, Berkeley, right? They have a lot of research paper and they don't want to put all that data inside a chat GPT where their research data can be compromised. Or a big company publisher like a Pearson or McGraw-Hill, they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Or think of defense. The data they have, they don't want their intelligence, the intelligence and the effort they are using to train the model to make it better, they don't want it to be shared. People want to own it. So that's where we thought that how is it possible that we can build something which helps organizations own their data, own their AI, and that became our tagline as well. So that's where we started researching along with a couple of professors. We never worked or liked professors during our study time, BTech time. But after that, I guess now I love a lot of professors because they help us in research and all, which we in business probably don't do at that extent. So I worked with a couple of international professors and even in IIT, and we were working on certain problem statements to figure out can we create smaller industry specific domain specific models which have similar accuracy like GPT, less cost, and can be hosted inside the premise, inside the device. That's where we discovered the concept of SLMs, small language models, which are industry specific fine tuned models. So for example, how rabbit AI's models compare with GPT's models is GPT knows everything. Okay, it knows about maths, science, reasoning, coding, legal, finance, everything. But if my model is getting trained on certain data set, let's say if it is trained to teach you English, okay, so mostly it will have the training data set and it will be kind of trained to just do that. And in this process, we can make the model smaller, and we can make, once it is smaller, I can host the model inside your cloud or inside your data center.
Much more local.
Much more local. And we flipped the whole equation. What was happening with proprietary models like GPT or Claude is you send your data where the model was. And while sending this data, there's a lot of problem which can happen. And that's one of the reasons where a lot of enterprises could not adopt Gen AI.
Yeah.
But we thought, can we do it reverse? Rather than taking your data to my model, can I take my model to the place where your data sits?
Yeah.
So that's where we built small language models, built infra, and built low code platform where organizations can deploy these models in house. We work with open source models, right, which you can train on custom data set, evaluate it, make it ready, get the accuracy at par with GPT and other proprietary models, and use it for your enterprise purpose. Now the models are more secure, smaller, and more economical. It serves your use case, and that's where we also named the company as Rapid.
Fair. Smaller.
Small rabbit is a metaphor. So when we were doing all this, the name of the company was not Rabbit AI, right? There was no such name. But then we thought, what should we name it? So we wanted to, clear the myths, and we wanted a name which symbolizes our philosophy. So we say in the world of AI, big is no longer beautiful. When IBM came in, when computers came in, data came in, they said big is beautiful. IBM is known as the big blue. So we're like, big is no longer beautiful, but rather small is soothing. And that's where Rabbit AI. So people were fearing AI, and we said the lions of the industry, people fear them. We are the rabbit. We don't take your data. We sit inside your premise.
Harmless.
Harmless. You can't tame a lion, but you can tame a rabbit. You can own a pet rabbit. Rabbit, it sits inside your device, inside your premise. So it's like your pet animal. You don't need to fear. It's not taking any data outside. It's not scary. And that this narrative also helped us to gain a lot of enterprise customers, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and work with them. And they did not fear us.
Great job done, Harneet, on that. And I think the part that I love the most is security, data security. And sometimes it's not about the money. It's sometimes you're genuinely dealing with a lot of confidential data. For example, the governments.
Yes.
And I know that you, as Rabbit AI, have worked with the government on their navy. So tell us more about that.
So with one of the countries, there was a project where they wanted to, with AI coming in, they wanted to create an innovation in the naval base. So what happens is, in the navy, when you are setting up a navy base, you have to set up a naval base, and you need to make the sea free of naval mines. What are naval mines? If I tell in layman terms, they are naturally occurring or artificially planted substances which look harmless but can explode when a merchant ship comes into their contact, or any ship comes into their contact. Looking at geopolitical situations, there could be conditions where it could be artificially planted by neighboring countries, or it is naturally occurring. So they need to send submarines underwater to detect those naval mines with soldiers inside. With AI coming in, one of the objectives was, can we make AI that automated that it can detect naval mines? So we worked on vision models, we worked on deep learning algorithms to detect 2000 different types of naval mines. Then the detection happens with AI, then the diffusion, the further steps can be taken by the command center. So earlier also these guys had a model, but the accuracy was less than 70% and all. We worked with them, trained the model, made it better. Of course, their guidance, our teams combined, we, God's grace, we achieved an accuracy of 97.5%. And with this accuracy, and it sounds like a sci-fi movie. Now you can send submarines with our solution. You can send submarines underwater
without
humans. And with a 97.5% accuracy, it can detect naval mines and ask the command center to take, desired operations, right? And even if it fails, there's no loss of human life. There's only loss of property.
Yeah, exactly. So great impact, right? This is exactly where you're genuinely saving lives.
Yeah, and that's where I also got awarded in India. DRDO gave me a medal for our such kind of model and all, and then people said, yeah, this is one of our works in saving soldier lives. And then we are also working on a lot of other AI solutions where we are trying to imagine, solutions which can save soldier lives and make soldier lives better. And that's one of the use cases of AI which we thought,
of course,
is very
and
relevant
I
for the
and I
society.
and I believe that when you combine AI with robotics, right? You can pretty much replace any life-threatening situations that our soldiers have to face.
True.
And be safe in a command center and execute your commands from there.
Exactly. And I believe the future of warfare will be, mix of human and AI. You can actually see what you see in movies today. I believe no longer than maybe in the next 20 years, you'll see an AI warfare, an AI battleground where
All
two
robots.
countries, robots are fighting with each other. They have their drones, they have their surveillance systems and all.
Correct.
And people watch it like a movie, and whosoever wins, wins. Probably this could be a future.
Okay, so you have talked about how governments and large companies are using AI. Tell us, if today I own a traditional business, let's say I have a textile industry in Ludhiana, or I have an Ayurvedic business in Kerala. How can I integrate AI into my business?
I have a complete theory on how to approach this kind of thing. But before that, two rules of question I have, just like Warren Buffett has two rules of investing. So I have that for LLMs and AI. Rule number one is, don't throw AI at every problem. And rule number two is, never forget rule number one.
Fair.
Right? So number one is you don't need to see that necessarily you have to integrate AI. Rather, businesses need to look at their problems and need to look at what AI can provide. And that's where I believe that AI awareness is very, very important. So for example, I'll tell you certain, with this Navy we worked, the problem was identifying naval mines and you needed a vision. So computer vision and autonomous decision making. That's where we utilize Gen AI models for doing so. There are other cases in a business, for example, if you're traditional business, right? Let's say you mentioned this textile mill. Let's say if your problem is engaging your employees, okay, and probably taking care of their skills and all, and let's say you have a lot of workers, that is your problem, and your HR cannot go and speak to everybody. I'm just thinking on the moment how you can create a problem statement and then see whether AI can be used there or not. Maybe one of your problems is that you need to build up the skilling and morale of your blue collar workers in the textile mill, and your HR and your supervisor or contractor, whosoever, is not able to talk to 1000 workers. Can you create something in vernacular language which talks to your workers, takes care of their concerns like their PF, like their salary, their workers, attendance, all those things? Can you make their lives more convenient and can you make them feel good? Can you actually generate a good employer experience with blue collar workers? Before AI, probably you think, yeah, you need to deploy 20 people to do that. You need, for every worker cohort of 10 people, you send one person who's talking to them, taking care of their emotions, bringing their issues to the management and stuff like that, right? Or with the internet world, you can have, oh, I can have a forum where they can post or they can fill a form or they can email and all. But you see, these methods are not useful.
Yeah.
Using generative AI, you can actually build a vernacular language solution for them where they can talk to a customer support in their own language. Let's say they know Tamil, they know Malayalam, or they know Punjabi or Gujarati. They can talk to that language, get their problem solved. Like my salary slip, my PF, meri chutti, mera attendance, everything, and you can give it to your people, which can help you save a lot on your productivity and your employer branding. So this is one such solution. So my thesis is, you look at what all things were not possible without Gen AI and what are the problems which you solve can give your business a 10x advantage. And then you think, in creating a solution to that problem which gives you a 10x advantage, can I use AI? Is it possible? And I guess that is really, really possible today. One thing which AI has delivered is personalization at scale. This is a very big term. Personalization at scale.
Yeah.
Either you have scale or you have personalization.
Correct.
Personalization means a home tutor. I am teaching you one on one. I am taking care of your entire journey. A coach. That is personalization. And scale is like factory side
Millions of
production.
people, yeah.
Right? How can you marry these two things? And that is what AI has done.
Because now you have a machine with a brain.
Yes.
And hence you can personalize.
Yes.
So we talked about you helping a government navy. We talked about small businesses. Let's talk macro. Now, I think this is again back to the 2000 moments of .com. Suddenly internet is here and a lot of applications can be built. We're again at the same juncture.
Yeah.
What industries are ready for disruption with AI?
So let's talk about history. I'll term the entire computer revolution in 4 parts. And AI is the fourth revolution, no surprise. So let's start with one. I guess the first time when humans discovered machines, they discovered them as storage engines. They're like, machines can store a lot of data which human mind cannot store. And that was where floppy disks, CDs, and computers were kind of invented. That you can store large amounts of data. And first transformation which was happening is, these big chunks of files which were there, they're now inside a computer, right? A desktop and all. That is, I would say, when people said that, oh, computers could store data, right? There was the end of files and there was end of these paper and all that stuff, and a lot of things started moving to computers. And a lot of companies emerged in that era who were providing computers as a device and storage solutions. So you see, Microsoft was born in that era. IBM was born in that era.
Yeah.
And these companies became big. Second is, when humans discovered computers can also compute. And that's where the first name of computers came into picture. Before that, they were just intelligent machines. If you know the full form of IBM, it is Intelligent Business Machines.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because they were making machines which can be used for business. So business machines and those big room size computers were called as that. Then mainframe computers came into picture, and then your desktops came into picture, and then Microsoft entered the market with PC game and all, right? So that's where first time computer word came to be used as for these devices. In this revolution, people realized that computers can also now compute. So calculators were born. That I'll say is the second power and second revolution of computers. Third revolution came. So now they can store, they can compute, they are a fully functional unit.
Yeah.
Third revolution happened, innovation happened when you realize computers can also communicate, connect with each other. That's where internet was born. You're like, a computer sitting in California can also connect to a computer sitting in Japan, and they can exchange information, and then protocols came into picture, and the entire internet revolution as we see today was born. And you see the biggest beneficiaries of internet revolution, all these .com companies, right? What you mentioned, from Amazon to Flipkart to Naukri.com in India to, globally Uber, and all the companies you see, Snapchat, Instagram, they are the products of internet revolution, where you've discovered one trait of computers which make them better, that is connection. They can connect, they can talk to each other just like humans. Now if you see a pattern in all these things, one, two, three, store, compute, connect, there was nowhere where a computer could generate. They are storing, they are computing the stored data, they're connecting and communicating, transferring that data. Okay?
Yeah.
So
But not creating.
not creating. With the fourth revolution, now you discovered a superpower which was before this only bestowed to humans, is creating, generating. Now it can create new stuff. Now that for me is still, it gives me goosebumps. Yeah, you can create stuff. Now what can you now, if you have to look at what industries on a macro level, coming back to your question, wherever creation is required, all those industries are set to be revolutionized. What can you create? You can create text. That means the writing industry, the marketing industry. You can create videos, generate videos. You can generate images. So whole of the media, communications, marketing industry. Then you can generate code also. That's where it is attacking the tech industry, and that is also getting revolutionized. It is generating music also today.
Yeah.
It is generating responses also today. That's where it is helping as an agent, a customer support agent. And the future is where even the big tech is developing AI for healthcare, where it can diagnose and solve your problems as well. It can generate prescriptions for you. So everywhere humans, you see, largely were involved in generation of stuff. Either a human is generating music or content or writing text or generating code or generating some sort of communication. That all today is possible with generative AI. And that is the biggest revolution. So largely all the tasks where earlier humans were creating, there is a possibility of putting AI to work and augmenting, not replacing, augmenting the human power with that. I guess all those industries, if you use this framework, you can immediately logically think of, we should create a copilot. That's what GitHub created, Microsoft created, and it's making the most money, I guess, today in the Gen AI world. And you could think of, oh, I can create something which helps you create images and videos and all, and that's where Canva and all these guys are integrating these AI features and making big moves in the market. Yeah.
I know that very soon we will be watching movies which were never shot.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
We'll be reading books that were never written.
Yeah.
Which is like a fictional world.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Which so true.
So true. Yeah. Even our models are capable of, Rabbit AI's models are capable of creating promotional videos and all. Not movies to that extent, but the tech is evolving. Where today we are creating, even our ad videos and all the animated videos, we are creating with generative AI. We are not hiring a studio. We're not hiring a media like this, right? And probably the future can also be there, where you and me are sitting in our avatar form and we are talking.
And we are talking
And
like we're talking here.
Yeah, yeah. And my clone. And one of the interesting projects I'll show you in one of the other podcasts with TJ Walker, I showed a live clone of himself created there itself. So I'm building my own clone as well to attend video meetings with my team.
Oh, so
Right?
they would not know they are talking to Harneet?
They would know. They would know, but that clone acts as a messenger between me. So I don't need to hire an EA today. Okay. I can train that model, and that clone takes all the summaries for me, be there for me, he also thinks like me in to certain
And
extent,
manage your calendar,
and manage
get your
my calendar and stuff
logistics.
like that, and gives that information to me in a summarized manner, and also can call me.
Wow. Can you create one for me, please?
Sure, we can
we'll,
discover.
we'll discuss that.
Yeah, $1 million only.
Sure. Now it's time to put the rabbit under fire. So I
Okay.
have a rapid fire round for you.
Okay.
Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Okay. No thinking, just spot on answers.
Okay.
One AI tool you can't live without.
Rabbit AI.
Okay. I thought you'll say ChatGPT.
We are better than them in certain extents.
Okay. Define AI in one word and make it dramatic.
Blessing.
Blessing.
It's a blessing. If I add one line to it, I believe it's a blessing today. Whatever we could not do earlier because of limitations of humans, I guess today you can do. You can be as creative as possible. I can create a movie, run a company, create a song, and create content for my company as well, and still sleep for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Without having a lot of employees.
Correct.
So it's a blessing. You can do all those things which you imagined earlier.
You called the Lion founder, and I've read articles which say the Lion founder, Harneet Singh. So what's the story behind this powerful title?
When I built successful companies, and we exited one company, and then we were going for a presentation for Rabbit AI only, and we were giving the solutions to one of the international clients only, and they were a government client, and they heard the solution, they liked our demo really well and all, and somehow they also knew our name, and they did not know I am the founder who's presenting, because I was presenting. They're like some representative who's presenting. They were thinking it's a very big company. So I was there myself personally, and then they say, "Oh, so you are Mr. Singh and you are representing Rabbit AI." I said, "Yes, and I'm the founder of Rabbit AI." They said, "You are a lion," because Singhs are typically called lions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you are a lion and you founded Rabbit AI. That's the irony, right? And they said, and I guess to an international crowd where we were known, so my marketing team was very smart enough to pick that up. They trademarked that name, and then then it became to be known as the lion founder in the industry across UK, South Korea, and India.
Well, congratulations for
Thank
that.
you.
Now we've heard a lot about AI replacing jobs. I want to ask you, how many jobs do you think AI will create?
12 million.
Can you elaborate?
So, World Economic Forum has this report which they say that 12 million new jobs will be created by AI. So, I guess they say some 96 million jobs will be newly created, and 84 million jobs will be replaced. Right? So, net 12 million new jobs. So, I also believe in that
But
number.
96 million new
And
minus the 84.
minus 84 million, which are getting replaced, and net 12 million new jobs.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. It is huge, and I also believe that I can give you one analogy. So what happened when steam engines became more efficient? People thought back in history, again, I love history. I believe if you have to create history, you should know history.
Yeah.
Right. So when steam engines came and they became more efficient, people thought now coal mines and coal mine workers will go out of jobs, because now you need less coal to run the steam engine. And there was an entire havoc in the industry that coal mines and coal miners will go out of jobs and all. And this term is also known as Givon's paradox. But what happened essentially was, you still see today there are a lot more coal mines and a lot more requirement for coal and energy as such.
Yeah.
Why? Because when engines became more efficient, it's not that they're now using less fuel and fuel demand will go down. No. But engines found more applications in various other industries. Engines did not find just application. They were made for cars, right, and travel, but they also found application in irrigation. They also found application in industrial works and all. And eventually there were more engines and more fuel, but less fuel per engine.
Fair.
I say the same will happen with AI. With AI coming in, there will be less humans required per task, but humanity as a whole will be doing a lot more tasks. So eventually, like that, there will be a lot more job creation.
Fair. One misconception about AI in marketing that you wish would vanish overnight.
That AI can solve everything. AI is a magic wand. Governments think AI is a magic wand.
Yeah.
It can immediately solve their problem. That is not the case.
Fair. What's one thing you wish more founders knew about AI before jumping in?
Everything you see today is still 20 to 30% AI, 70% you still need to have other skills.
Okay. Finish this sentence. In 5 years, AI will?
Entirely revolutionize how we see the world today.
In 5 years?
Yeah. in less than
Okay.
5 years as well. The revolutionizing is still happening. You see,
Yeah.
software developers today and AI Copilot are producing similar level of code. In our company ourselves, we use a lot of Copilot and AI tools to create code and all.
Yeah.
So it is changing. It is changing. When we graduated from IIT, there was a lot of demand for software developers, and nobody could code. And we had the pride that IIT के लोग ही ये कर सकते हैं, right?
True.
Suddenly, there are other kids also who sold hackathons and got Amazon, Google jobs and all.
Yeah.
Your people also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then eventually, I believe now it is done by machines also.
Fair.
So AI will
Fair.
definitely revolutionize and change.
Harneet, given the fast pace at which the world is changing, what kind of skills should students prepare themselves for?
I guess in today's world, problem solving will matter most because most of the hard skills will be augmented with AI. And secondly, I guess the ability to learn new things is the best ability you should gain. So I gave this tagline a few years back. You have heard this quote that if you give man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach him fishing, you feed him for lifetime.
Correct.
So I gave the same for Java. I said that if you teach person Java, you'll probably feed him for 2 3 years. But if you teach them the art of learning Java, you'll teach them for lifetime. And I guess with the AI skills evolving, same is the case. Rather than teaching them one particular skill, now we need to teach the kids the art of learning. I guess the best way to do that is experiential learning. They should jump into the water directly. They should jump into the market, look at real problems, and then reverse engineer whatever things they have learned and apply the newest technologies. I guess that's the best way they should learn about things. And I guess that's what you also believe. We also believe in our company that you can't. When I graduated from IIT Delhi, so AI was not a hype, and AI was only used for high frequency trading, and that was not even AI. That was machine learning and deep learning. And most of the top computer science kids would go to that kind of banks, and the jobs were very limited. The 1 crore, 2 crore packages, and I did not like finance or trading that much, so I stayed away from those roles. AI was not what AI was when we graduated. So whatever learning I had is mostly on the job. So I guess
Right.
what IIT did to us, it prepared us for every challenge.
It
Right?
taught us how to learn.
It taught us how to learn. And I guess our professors did a very good job by not teaching us that well, that we learned
On your own.
on our own and then we got ready for life.
Yeah.
Today also, if there's something new, some new research paper comes in, I read that up, I try to implement it, and I guess that's the best way. If we teach kids wherever they are studying this thing, I believe they'll be ready for future, and India will be ready to lead the AI revolution.
Well, thank you, Harneet. I mean, I learned a lot today about
Thank you.
AI, and all the best to Rabbit AI. And I look forward to what all you achieve with the vision that you have.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.